Ashley with Baking with the Bakers. Today we're going to finish our apple pie. We're going to work on the pie filling first, then we'll go on and bake the pie. Now I'm going to show you all the ingredients for the filling. I've already got them measured out, but I'll tell you the measurements. And we're going to preheat our oven. So let's get started. Let's start off by preheating our oven to 375 degrees. It'll take a while. Now for our filling ingredients, we have 1/8 cup of lemon juice, so that's roughly 2 tablespoons. We have 1/2 cup of white sugar and 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt. I use the pink Himalayan salt, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And of course, can't be an apple pie without delicious apples. For my apple pie, I usually use about 3 peeled and cored Fuji apples. So I'm going to go ahead and get those apples ready, and then we'll move on. Quick little thing, I found out it's much easier if you peel around than down. So, thing to keep in mind. I've been doing it wrong for over a year now. Alright everybody, we have all 3 of our Fuji apples peeled. So now we're going to core them and slice them. Now, I know I said use 3 large Fuji apples, but that's just my preference. For this recipe, you can use any apple that you want, as long as you think it tastes good in a pie. Granny Smith is a popular one, Gala, the Gold Delicious. I wouldn't really recommend the Red Delicious. They aren't quite, I don't know, the texture is off for me. But you want to slice them about, let's say that's between 1/8 and 1/4 inch thick. And you're going to throw them all into your big mixing bowl. And then we're going to add the other ingredients of the filling. But make sure that whatever apple you do use, you get between 2 and 2.5 pounds worth of apples. And remember that some of that weight is going to be the core, which we're obviously going to throw out. So with the Fuji apples that I got, these 3 weighed right at 2 pounds. And I figure I have some apples at the house. If I don't have enough apples for my filling, which I'm pretty sure this will be more than enough. If I don't have enough apples for my filling, I'm just going to grab one out of the fridge. I have a Honey Crisp and Sugar Bees, which aren't the best in my opinion for apple pies because they're not soft enough. They have more snap. But it's alright, you know, it's just going to be a couple little filler apples for the filling. So let's go ahead and finish up doing this with all of our apples, and we'll meet you back at the end of chopping these guys up to go on to the next ingredients of the filling. Alright, so we have all of our apples chopped up. It almost fills this bowl, so I think we have quite enough apples for our filling. You just want to make sure they're broken up and not all sticking together the whole time. But I'm going to go on and pour my lemon juice on. Again, that's about 2 tablespoons or 1/8 cup of lemon juice. It smells good like that. I'm going to break up our brown sugar and kind of mix it in with our white sugar a little bit. Just for that extra little oomph, you know, the brown sugar. looks good. So we're going to add that. Sprinkle it over the top of the apples in your bowl. Now, if you don't want to use brown sugar, you can use 3/4 cup of just regular white sugar. I'm going to go ahead and mix this in a little bit to distribute the sugar and the lemon juice around. And if you do this and some of your apples break, that's totally fine. Especially if you're using a softer apple like the Fuji. Looks like that. And I'm going to give our flour, salt, nutmeg, and cinnamon a quick stir. We're going to toss that in and give our big old bowl another stir with the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and even with the lemon in there. It just smells delicious. Like, I'm not gonna lie, usually when I make this, if I'm not videoing it, I sneak a couple of the apples to eat out of this bowl. So I'm almost always a little short on filling. And Ember likes them too. She just doesn't want to cooperate today. She doesn't really want to be on camera that much. She's got her tablet, and so she is not really feeling the YouTube life today. But here's what it looks like. Delicious, right? So we're gonna put this in the fridge while we get the dough ready, and that'll keep the apples from browning even more. The lemon juice should help with that, but you know, even with lemon juice, you can only do so much to prevent browning. So let's go ahead, put these in the fridge, and get our dough back out that we have already made. The dough out of the fridge, I've already unwrapped it. We're going to go ahead and cut it in half. You do not want to take a bite. This is Alice right here. I don't know if you can see her. But we're going to set part of it to the side and take the other half, ball it up, and set it down for a minute while we get some flour to flour our work surface with. I floured my work surface, my rolling pin, and my hands. We are going to roll this out to about 1/4 of an inch, about. You want to try and roll it out in a circle, obviously, because there's pie pans in a circle. But if you can't, just kind of ball it up and re-roll it again. Now, again, my pie tin is, or my pie pan is 9.5 inches. So I have to roll this out pretty big in order to cover the whole thing. And if you notice that your rolling pin starts to stick because it's too hot in your kitchen with the oven preheating or whatever, just put some flour on and continue rolling. Don't try to roll with it still sticking like that, because that's gonna just tear up your dough and make it look like a grand mess. on one side than the other, so I gotta straighten that out. This quite clearly isn't a circle, but we can fix that. Let's just make sure that it's wide enough. It is. I like to prepare my pie tin by spraying it and putting a little bit of flour on the bottom just to help reduce stickiness. Now I am sticking to the table a bit, which is unfortunate, but if you just be gentle with it and pull slowly, it'll minimize the amount that you have sticking to your table or your workspace. And it's going to be a little heavy when you fold it over, so sometimes people will fold it over their rolling pin and gather it up that way, just like this. And then we lay it across, oops, lay it across. Now we get to fluff it out and take care of all the little details of the bottom crust. It shrunk quite a bit when I picked it up, so we're gonna have to fix that a little bit. Now it's really thick on the bottom, so we might actually have to take this back out, roll it again, and try it, because if it's too thick on the bottom, it's just going to be a gummy mess whenever you add the filling and bake it. It's just going to become like goopy. We might re-roll this and give it another try, okay? All right, now we've re-rolled it and got it on the pan. What we're going to do is go ahead and pour the apple filling in it and put it back in the fridge, because the dough's getting too warm. That's the problem that we're having with it. And so it's just coming apart like this right now. Ah! I got some on Ember. But all you have to do is just dump the filling in and like even it out a little bit. Make sure there's not like 5,000 apples over here and 2 over here. And then we'll go on and we'll work on the top crust after that. So we're dumping our apples in. Make sure you scrape the bottom so that you get the juice and all the seasonings that fell down to the bottom. And the sugar, very good. That fell down to the bottom of the bowl. And just kind of drizzle that over the top.
There's a bunch of flour.
Yes, and there's a bunch of flour. We're going to put this in the fridge while we roll out our... Alright, so the second dough rolled out a lot easier. And we are just going to cut straight lines in it. Because what we're going to do is make a lattice top. Try and get them about the same size, but if that doesn't happen, it's totally understandable. Nobody's perfect. It did stick a little bit, didn't it?
Yep.
Here we go. I like to start in the center and work my way out. If it's too long, just leave it hanging off. Lay out the strip and kind of crimp it on the edge with your thumb. Now, you might have excess dough from the bottom crust on your pie tin. It's okay, just gently pull it off so you don't create any tears in the actual dough of the pie itself. And I also like to do all of my horizontal lines first. Pinch the excess off and set it to the side because you'll be using it later.
And later.
Yes, use it later. Be sure to pinch it down to meet with the crust. No.
You take the pieces off, or I take the pieces off.
Yes, you take the big leftover pieces off. Alright.
Then
Actually, this should work on the bottom down here. Yeah. Now, if you have itty bitty pieces left over, just set them to the side. You might be able to re-roll them for something else later on. And now it's time to do our vertical pieces. And I like to kind of get an approximation of how long they need to be and then go ahead and pinch them off. Now, since we are starting in the center,
I'm funny.
we need to lift this one and lay down
Take a nap.
the vertical piece. Then we put the other one back over. And you do the same down here. Fold this back, lift the horizontal, fold it back over. Alright, now when you're doing lattice work, the side next to the middle, where the middle starts on the top, this will start in the bottom. Stop, Ember.
Take a piece off.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Which means it goes over this piece and under this one. Alright. And the same on the opposite side of the middle piece. It's going to start under, so lift, lay, lay, go over, lift and lay. Sorry for the background noise. That's Ember's tablet. All right. We're gonna go under here, over in the middle, under on top. And our last piece of the lattice goes over on the middle, under right here, and under right here. All right. And before you put it in the oven, there are a few things you need to do. So let's do that real quick. Never give a baby pie dough to play with. Never do it. Alright, so we're going to crack an egg.
Yeah.
And we're going to beat it. this over our lattice work. Our entire crust, really. Once you have your egg wash on, you are going to sprinkle just a little white sugar over the top. Like that was about 1 pinch full over the top. And now we're going to put it in the oven. What we're going to do now is just wait 50 to 60 minutes for our pie to bake. You don't want it to over bake and burn the edges, so check on it around 30 minutes. If it looks like it's getting too dark, put foil around the edges of the pie crust, and that'll help you to not burn your edges. So I'll check back with you all in about an hour or so. All right, but this is what you want it to look like. You can see the juices in there, see the apples and the delicious crust puffed up and baked so well. The edges are a little rough on mine, I do admit, but you can fix that on your own. Just kind of leave about down to here on your pie tin instead of cutting it off right at the edge. But whenever we cut into this later, I will let you guys see how delicious it looks inside, and I really do wish you could smell it because my whole house smells like an apple pie now, and I'm not even burning a candle or anything. So again, thank you all so much for cooking along with us today and putting up with lots of background noise and fussy kids. Have a happy holiday and stay safe. Thank you.